Happy Monday, everyone. How are you doing? Donna Ferguson here. It's Monday. Yes, I hope your day started off well. And I'm praying for that you will have a great, productive week. So, as usual, my Monday sessions with you is always to try to bring something that is of value, and usually in the financial area of planning. And so that when you are ready to make any decision financially planning wise, you have information under your belt. I was speaking to someone over the weekend and I was just explaining some of the things that I do. It was a young person. So he said to me, well, Donna, the things that you're bringing is not very sexy or appealing right now. And I said, yes, I know it's not exciting like I may giving away $1 million or telling you the secret trade to buying stocks and bonds and making money overnight. The things that I do is the thing that are long lasting. It's not an overnight thing. It's not an overnight fix or quick this or quick that. It's planning for your future. Take, for instance, anyone can relate to this. You have a leak in your home and the pipe is dripping, dripping, dripping. And you say, one day I'm going to get to it. One day I'm going to get to it. And it started where the drip starts to be poor till you have to set buckets. And to the point when the pipe broke. And if you think about it, which would have cost less, fixing the drip or when the pipe break? We both would agree that fixing the drip is less costly than a full break. So it is when it comes with financial planning. We don't want to be putting things in place in a rush because there's a crisis. It's the same thing like when there's a fire, then you're putting in all kind of precautions. Or when somebody breaking your home, you're putting in an alarm when the house is already broken into. So what I'm saying, it is always cheaper to plan. Even if you don't do anything with the information that I give to you, pass it on to someone else. Keep it in mind. And when you can act on it as fast as you can. Why? Because you never know when you might need some of these things. So today's topic is one that might not be popular and most people don't really think about it. It's on the topic of will. And when you ask a person, do you have a will in place? Many people would say, no, I don't have anything. So why do I need to make a will? I don't have any spouse. I don't have any children. So what's the purpose? And, I have everything set in place. I only have one child. It will automatically go to them. Well, we have many misconceptions as to how we believe things will be handled when, God forbid, that you or a family member pass away. Some of the misconceptions that we have, we're going to talk about 5 and I'll list them first. We might say, I'm not wealthy enough to need a will. Some say, oh, well, my spouse would inherit everything. All of my assets are joint titled. So guess what? I don't need to do anything. So automatically, if not, I'm not around, my spouse will get it. And we have some who said, I don't have any here. So why the need for a will? And then number 5, and the biggest on most people's list is, I am not ready to set anything in stone. Well, let's deal with the first one. I am not wealthy enough to have a will. Some of us might not have a home, businesses, large sets of money. But if you started to have all that you have, whether it's in your bank account, your jewelry, cars, whatever it is that you feel is of value to you now, and you feel like you're the only one is it of value for, you will be surprised when you start adding that up. It is a substantial amount. That whatever you own become a part of your estate. And I remember when I was young, I used to think about estate being, someone is rich and they put a trust in place and all of that. Now understanding an estate It's just simply a name for all of the things that you own that belongs to you. So when someone passes away, their whatever they own becomes part of their estate, whether it's asset or it's debt. All right. So keep that in mind, and just understanding that it is not just having a will is not just having a lot of things. Also, something that you might be surprised to know, some of us may have children, young children, might not have a lot of money, but we have never started and say, if something should happen to me today, who will be guardian over my children? Have you ever thought of that? Who will be the guardian over my children? Important, right? You don't want your children to go to any and everybody. And if something, if you don't have both biological parents, will it go to a family member? Will they be put in a system? These important conversations are part of a will. Whether we believe it or not, it is. Number 2, we have this conception that if you are married, that everything will go to your spouse. But how many of you have been married more than once, right? You might have children outside of your current marriage, or you might not have any children in your current marriage. However it might be, you might want to take the time and discuss with your attorney as to what are some of the plans that you can put in place right now into addressing the issue of estate, whether it goes to your spouse, is there children that you want to divide things up into? Because one of the things you might think about is the way you anticipate it in your mind and the way it carry out when you're not here is 2 different things, because you have not put anything in writing. Also, a caution that I usually talk about is, if you have insurance, check your insurance beneficiary at least once or twice per year. Change it when something comes up, or when there's a life event or a change. Make sure that your 401ks, your retirement planning, your bank accounts have names on it as to who is supposed to be transferred to. And funny enough is, thing that we have never thought of, everything is for your spouse, of course. But have you ever considered that maybe, what if, God forbid, that both you and your spouse pass away at the same time, and it's only your spouse's name on those beneficiary? That's why it's also important to have what's called a secondary or a contingency beneficiary, so that your asset is not tied up in probate court for years and years, or just they deciding what they want to do with it, because guess what, there was nothing in place. So having a primary beneficiary and a secondary beneficiary is important. We never know how life turns out. As I said, not necessarily the most pleasant thing to talk about on a Monday, but nonetheless, it's important information. There is also the thing about my spouse and I, or whoever your business partner, whoever it might be, own our asset jointly. But have you thought about how is it owned? Like your home. Is it jointly, whereas if you should pass away, the home automatically goes to your spouse? Or is it, there's something that's called joint tenant right of survivorship, meaning that if I pass away and I own something with myself and my spouse, it will automatically go to the next person. And there's what's called a joint in tenant, whereas my portion, I can allot it to go to whoever I want to. So it doesn't automatically transfer over to the next person. These are things that you might want to discuss with your attorney. Even setting up a trust, or even thinking about the things that you own. How is it owned and how will it be distributed? So again, it comes to the point is, yes, I want stuff for my spouse, but I have children that I want to leave something for. Make sense? Any questions? Again, you can always comment and ask question. When I don't know the answer, I will point you in the direction that you may go. But it's always important to have this information at hand. The next thing is, for those who said that I don't have, I don't have anybody to leave anything to. Are you passionate about any organization, any cause, anything that is dear to your heart. Many people have breast cancer society, veterans, you name it, all these different causes that people contribute to. Do you know that you can set up your funds to go to an organization so they may have good use of it? Don't let it go to waste. You do not have use for it, but somebody else can. Let it go to a good cause. By even setting up to an organization. Do you belong to a church? All those funds that you have that is not assigned to someone can be transferred over to a direct person, a friend, trusted friend that you love and want to leave something for, or even an organization. Another point in case is we said, I don't want to set a will in place in stone right now. This is where I'm going to say, you do not know what tomorrow holds. You do not know what the second holds. It's when a will, once you put it in place, it's not set in stone. You can always change it over time. So it's not set it and leave it, because, as life is going on, things change. People are not there anymore in your life. You can change your will to update it with new information, new assets, new information, just things that might have changed over the years when you first put the thing in place. So it's good to have something. It's the worst thing to actually have a will or have none at all. A person pass away and they're scrambling all over the place trying to look for this document. Did they have a will? Did they have a will? What can't, there's money, but we can't have no access to it because it's in the bank and we can't touch it. And in your bank account, there is only your name on it. There is no transfer upon death name that if something should happen to you, one of your beneficiary children can go to the bank and say, here is the death certificate. Here is my identity. I understand that my name is listed as a transfer and debt on my family bank account, so that you can even have a proper burial if you don't have life insurance or money immediately to take care of a cost. Just these little tidbits that I want you to think about. And as I give the analogy about the dripping water, you don't want it to wait until it turns into a flood. It always costs more. It costs more headache, more pain, and it interrupts your life when things are not in place. So as I say, it's not the most exciting thing, but it is important thing when you're talking about long-term planning for the ones you love. Remember, not all of us have grown children. Some of us have very young children. And you want to make sure a transition is always easy for them. Again, I would say, when you love someone, you plan for them. Again, thank you for listening. Please like, share, or comment on anything that I have to say. And see you again next Monday. Have a great and productive day. Be blessed.